Hello and welcome to On the Wrist. Today we're taking a look at the Mozsly single watch winder. This watch winder comes in a variety of colors, is fairly compact, and relatively quiet. Watch winders are a bit of a hot topic for discussion as to whether they're necessary, whether they damage your watch, so we'll talk about all that in this video. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Before we get started, I do want to mention that Mozsly gave me this winder for the video, which is why it's marked paid promotion. Now, what is a watch winder? Well, not too surprisingly, it is something that keeps your watch wound. It's a matter of convenience, and if you don't want your watch to lose charge over the weekend, you can throw it on a winder and keep it fully charged. Now, is a watch winder safe for use with your watches? The answer is yes, but. Yes, it's safe for use, but you should use it carefully. By that I mean I would not recommend using it every day 24/7 for watches you're not wearing. It is essentially like wearing your watch non-stop, which can just wear your watch, reduce the service interval, and you want to let your watch rest every now and again, fully unwind to fully cycle the spring inside. One thing you also want to watch for is the turns per day of the winder. You don't want a winder that's just constantly spinning. That's really bad. If you get a watch winder with a turns per day, what that means is it'll rotate for some number of turns, stop for the remainder of an hour, and at the start of the hour, start again. We'll discuss that a little more in this video because this watch winder does do turns per day. I'll put a link to a couple of videos discussing watch winders in the description below for more information. But if you use your watch winder sparingly and don't just leave it on there rotating non-stop, you should be okay. Now, the technical specs of this watch winder: it is 5.5 inches long, 4.25 inches tall, and 4.25 inches wide. It comes in a variety of colors from, this is the orange one, it also comes in a brown, a space metal silver, space metal black, carbon fiber paint, carbon fiber leather, and black leather. It has a acrylic viewing port so you can see your watch and it protects it from dust. And it comes with two different pillows. It comes with this orange pillow that's spring loaded, and it also comes with a soft cushion. Now, when I first started up this winder, it was very challenging to get this to fit within my watch. However, after I put a stainless steel bracelet watch around it and it sort of broken the spring a little bit, it now fits much nicer. This can be used for a little more dainty straps. On the back of the winder, you'll find the power options. It's either powered from a wall hook up here or with 4 AA batteries that you can install there. You cannot use both. So if you want to use one or the other, please either disconnect the power if you want to use the batteries, or take out the batteries if you're going to plug it into power. There is a port here where you can chain multiple winders together to save on electrical outlets. And down at the bottom are two options. On the left here, you can choose the direction which the watch is going to spin. Option number 1 will spin it clockwise, 2 counterclockwise, and 3 will be bi-directional, so it'll rotate one way at one point, then rotate back the other way. Most watches will fit into the last category, but you'll want to check your movement specs to make sure you know which way the rotor needs to wind the watch. On the right here is your speed selector, which is critical for a watch winder. The fear with a lot of watch winders is that you're overwinding the watch, you're overstressing it constantly. This has 4 different speeds built into it. Number 1 is 650 TPD, or turns per day, which essentially means that if it were left on all day, it would rotate the watch a total of that TPD. And the way the winder works is it winds the watch for a portion of each hour, and then it lets it rest, so it's not constantly winding it. So for example, on setting 1 for 650 turns per day, that translates to about 3 minutes and 30 seconds of operating time per hour. Setting 2 is 900 turns per day, 3 is 1200 turns per day, and 4 is 1500 turns per day. You can see the operating and rest times accordingly. Most watches are going to fall in the setting 1 or 2 area, but I took some data that I want to share with you. So what I've done is I took my Seiko Pro Specs with a power reserve indicator, linked to the review in the description, and I set it to 10 hours, and then I left it for a period of time in the winder to see how much the watch got wound, whether it maintained the current level of winding, or if it got wound more. So first up was the setting 1, 650 turns per day. I left it in there for 5 hours, and after 5 hours, as you can see there, it was still at about 10 hours. So that implies to me that if I put that watch in there, it's going to maintain its current power reserve level. Now, my second trial, I put it to setting 2 for the 900 turns per day, and I left it for about 10 hours. When I came back, it was at 20 hours of power reserve left, meaning that it had been wound more. So if you left it on there constantly, it would eventually max out and be constantly overwinding. And then just for kicks, I also tried setting 4, the 1500 turns per day, and I left it alone for 10 hours and found it totally maxed out. So I shouldn't have left it on there for that long, and I would not recommend using any setting that's going to overwind your watch. That's what you have to be careful with these watch winders, but setting a watch to the setting 1 or 2 is probably okay, and if you're using it for a minimal amount of time, not a big deal. Operation is very easy. All you do is you remove the protective cover, take out the cushion, take your watch and make sure that you have the clasped. Make sure you have the clasp closed. Take the pillow, compress it, fit it behind the watch and the bracelet, or in between the bracelet. And there you go. That's an easy way to get it to fit in there. All you do is then slide it in, screw the lid back on, and then you just select your options. So I have it plugged into an AC inlet. I'm going to put it onto both directions, and I have it on 900 turns per day, and I can actually feel it already turning. Simple as that. Now, these winders are available on Amazon or the Mozsly website. Mozsly website has them listed for $89.99. However, they sell them on Amazon for $83.99, essentially $84. Overall, I actually think the construction is quite nice. I'm a little wary of the acrylic screen. I do wish it was glass, but it is a nice viewing port, and it's not like you're wearing it like a watch, so it's less likely to get scratched if you're careful with it. But I just think acrylic wasn't an ideal choice. However, I do enjoy the overall design aesthetic. I really enjoy the orange color. But I want to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think you need a watch winder? What do you think of this one in particular? Is the value there? Do you have any concerns about using a watch winder? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. This has been On The Wrist. Thank you for watching.